You ask questions and I answer them.
Are you guys nuts? What am I talking about? It's super cool because of the gentle design.
Boom, Watch Fam. What is up, Watch Fam? Welcome to episode 66. Anna's telling me it's episode 66 of ASKTNH. I'm in Europe right now, probably snapping up a storm. Follow us on Snapchat at Theo and Harris. I'll probably be, like tap dancing, sending photos of my wrist shots. Funny Italian people. Italian people are funny. I'm Italian. I'm not racist. I'm just Italian, Wait, that sounded bad. I was not being racist when I said questions. Let's go into the questions. All right, here's one that hits close to home. What do you think about bloggers and paid ads on blog sites? I think that bloggers are trying to make money. They're trying to play short term, and I think that their audiences will know that, sniff them out, and not care as much. I think that Facebook's a brilliant company for a lot of different reasons, but I think that what's most interesting about Facebook is their system for paid advertising. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much money you're going to put into your budget, Facebook will not really give you priority. If your ad doesn't fare well, if your ad is not good, your ad fails then. And that doesn't exist in the blog world. Not only does that, that principle not exist, but that thought doesn't exist. That thought that Facebook has about going for the long term. Because Facebook knows that if they put shitty content on their website, that their website is then going to be associated with shitty content. And then although they may make $50 million by GE, right, when GE pays the check, they're going to lose long-term viewership, real long-term, not like 2 months. I'm talking about 2 years, and the equity in people, right? So I think that bloggers don't want to accept that. And I get it. Like sometimes you're in a pinch and you really have to like sell something, or maybe just sell an ad. I mean, I don't do that at Theo and Harris, but I can get it. I understand that. But it's become habitual. I think they're playing a real short-term game because the people who are going to read them don't necessarily, want to read the horse shit that's on that site, right? So now if you get in the habit of skipping over articles on X blog because some of them are promoted, it starts to decay, right? It all starts to corrode, and then your equity in the people starts to get bad. So I think it's a short-term play, and I know, at least from personal experience as a consumer, that paid ads are never as good. They're not honest. So paid ad implies that X company paid X blogger to write this article, right? And that means that particular article is definitely going to have a slant, right? But because it's promoted, the audience should technically be able to say, okay, this is promoted, so I have to take it, as such, not take it as a subjective opinion where I'm, trusting X blog with their opinion. They're just reporting the news, right? Or the news as someone else says it. They're boring. And oftentimes, and most times, they're not fun to read. Why? Because one, this is their one shot. This is their one, check that they wrote to buy a space. So they're fitting all of their time to sell you into one article, right? So that's number one. And no one really wants to feel like they're being, shoved a product down their throat from a site. Not the people who are writing, but the people who are sponsoring, or people who are allowing the sponsorship. They're not used to being forced, right? So anytime I think that a blog is posting something that is not enjoyable, it's not good, right? And that sounds very rudimentary, but the truth is you're losing your readership, even if just slowly. And even if you don't lose one single reader in that article, you may be putting a straw on his back. And then another one. And over the course of 6 months, if you piss off your reader a couple times, or you just make him disinterested, that's it. You could lose that person. And it's not just one, it's thousands. But when another company, let's say Tutor, for example, buys big advertising, not necessarily a paid ad, but big advertising on a site just for pop-ups, it's in that site's best interest to keep their relationship with Tutor, to not shit on Tutor. I don't mean just like without regard, just shit on different companies. I mean not necessarily say the truth, and not say their opinions, right? So there's two kinds of paid advertising: the kind that's very like in your face and bad, and the kind that's actually worse because it's not honest. Because it is passing yourself off as a really like trustworthy place, and not saying this ad is paid, and not saying it's bias, but rather just saying, oh, this is the new Tudor Black Bay. Meanwhile, it's all filtered, it's all contorted to fit a certain requirement. So I'm not a fan of paid advertising. I think that watch bloggers should be getting paid from BMW or Mercedes and not other watch companies, because BMW or Mercedes are not going to fight as to what watch blogs can write about Rolex. They're not going to interfere. The reason you have readers is because you gave your thoughts. Or the reasons you had readers is because you didn't compromise in the beginning. And now because you have them, you're taking them for granted. That's just a bad recipe. But what do I know, right?